Alright everybody, we're still up, just letting everybody know we're going to leave the radar up, and we will start doing our next radar update around 1 a.m. and discuss it then. So right now it's just going to be radar only till 1 a.m. Then we'll start discussing the good news or the bad news. So stick with us. Thanks again, everybody. Alright everybody, so let's give some news here on the update. Starting to see some gusty winds show up within the cells here. Just now popping up as it's getting ready to cross into Jackson County. Looks like that batch will move right toward the Stevenson and Bridgeport area. Could see some gusty winds, not seeing anything damaging at the moment, but we're going to keep a close eye on it. Seeing some additional development ahead of that outflow boundary, so that's something we're also watching for. Did expect it to, have some additional development ahead of it, but right now we're mainly watching this stuff here as it is trying to intensify again as it's moving into Jackson County. Excuse me, there just north of High Top. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on these thunderstorms as they develop. So I guess we'll just start our live update at 1 a.m. We'll start a little bit early here. Go ahead and continue tracking them now that they have made it into Jackson County, northern part, getting really close to the high top area. Don't be alarmed by that. That's not a twister or anything over the high top radar. It's actually just the radar site, so don't freak out over those colors together like that. But we do have some gusty winds now in excess of probably 30 miles per hour heading toward high top, Stevenson potentially. It does look like it's actually jetting south a bit, so definitely toward high top, Stevenson area. We got some gusty winds coming in. Let me take a look at some other information here. I believe there's a special weather statement been put in place. And there actually has a special weather statement, but it's not been extended into Jackson County yet. But National Weather Service up there in, I believe, Nashville, Tennessee, has actually that is National Weather Service. I'll get it right here in a minute. Forgive me, everybody. Let's see here. Okay, so it's not giving the information out on which weather service is put it up. But anyway, looking like strong thunderstorms moving into the area. There's wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour possible with that, moving to the southeast at 30 miles per hour. Of course, National Weather Service is mentioning that these storms may intensify, and a severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect until 2 a.m. Central Daylight Time for Middle Tennessee. Now, this is not our area. At Middle Tennessee, and we are starting to see some intensification with this line, with this little area here of some thunderstorm, shower thunderstorm activity, as it is now moving into Jackson County there. So we're going to just stay live here and keep an eye on it until it does move on through. There's another outflow or gust front that's also associated with this. Besides the first one, we have a second one now developing. We got one there, a second one there, so we have two outflow boundaries now we're watching. Something that the models were not picking up on, of course. I've been watching this one all the way up north there, and this one's kind of giving some thunderstorm activity over New Market, areas around High Top. We did have some hail reports with it as well, so just going to keep watching it. Nothing severe at the moment, but it is showing me some signs that it's trying to produce some outflow winds right there. A little bit, it's got that characteristic to it that you would expect to see with some gusty winds. Let me switch it back here, dual pan. So yeah, 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. Possibility of a extension into Jackson County with that special weather statement. Whether they do that or not, I'm not sure. We'll have to just see if they do. But I can tell you, if an outlook has came out and literally right where I drew the line at, just about. It's just a little bit further north of that line. But a line has been drawn out there for a slight risk. So they've included a slight risk in the far northeast portion of DeKalb County and Jackson County, which includes in DeKalb County, Henniger, Hammondville, Valley Head, Ider areas. In Jackson County, that includes Hollywood, Stevenson, Bridgeport, Shiloh. Y'all are under a level 2 out of 5 severe weather threat there of some damaging winds. So y'all have a better potential there. And elsewhere, a marginal, I believe a marginal risk was in effect there, if I'm telling you right. Let me take another look at this. Let me back up just a little bit here. Okay, hang on. It's doing something funny here. Slight risk, marginal risk. Okay, yeah, making sure I was telling you right there. Yeah, marginal risk of severe thunderstorms level 1 exists for all of DeKalb, excluding the far northeast portion. All of Jackson County, excluding the northeast portion. If you're further northeast, you have a better threat of damaging winds from this system coming in now. But we all have a low threat of some of these becoming severe. better threat northeast where I drew the line, was just talking about it earlier. Still not seeing an extension into Jackson County yet with that special weather statement, but I would expect it to do so here momentarily. I mean, those winds are not very high, 30 miles per hour, maybe 40. And maybe some small hail in there too. I do see a little bit going on there. But lots of heavy rainfall with it too. So far, we're not looking too bad, other than that. Hello, Mr. Mike. I'm sorry I didn't say hey to you at first there. I'm really tired, so yeah, I apologize. I actually seen you right as I was cutting the live stream out. So hello, Mike. Hope you're well. Still have your cut, by the way, Mike. So it's still holding back right over there. It ain't going nowhere. Logan asking about Langston section area. Bear with me on that. Let's see here. Where in the world did section go? There it is. Langston is section. There's a low threat that we could get some of this, but like I said, it's possible. The biggest area of concern, though, that the Storm Prediction Center has outlined would be, it's going to be a little further north, like right in this corner right here is where your slight risk is going to be at. So they expect it to stay a little bit further east, but that's why they have also went ahead and included a marginal risk, which includes all of Marshall County. Don't pay attention to that second line there because I made a mistake on it. Marginal risk, I'll circle that area. Marginal risk goes all the way, all the way out here, and it includes all of Marshall, DeKalb, Jackson, excluding this area here. It's under a slight risk, so a little bit higher risk, and that's pretty much the way the storms are going. Looking at the radar, that's exactly where they're hanging out at. But elsewhere, there is a low threat that some other pop-ups could develop and produce some damaging winds elsewhere too. But right now, it looks like it's hanging out right along that line there. Nothing severe again at the moment. And Weather Service has not extended that special weather statement into Jackson County yet. They may or may not. But man, there is a ton of power outages in Georgia. Like that last system that went through, oh my goodness, at the power outages it caused. Like, it caused a lot of wind damage, I'm hearing. A lot of wind damage over there. So yeah, we're seeing 30 to 40 mile per hour winds on the Doppler radar scan here. And this is not a very high up scan, like it's right at the radar site. So we can expect 30 to 40 mile per hour winds with that. Now, if you're in high top, you're getting some in winds now. Stevenson, you're about to get some of those winds here shortly. In Bridgeport, possibly Shiloh area as well, if it continues on its path now and with the strength it's got. Had some really big winds up here with this earlier before it weakened out. Starting to see a little bit of intensification there in that part of the cell. We got a little bit of hail showing up, or it's trying to get some hail in there anyway. It may not have it yet. But yeah, this is definitely not what you would call a, significant setup or anything like that. In fact, it looks very messy. The most organized I've seen so far would be like right now, which is north of Huntland, Tennessee, right there. That's probably the most active I've seen it for the past little bit. Let's see if we have any hail in there. And we do have hail in there, so that's what I thought. So approximately pea-size hail in there. 0.25. Yeah, pea-size hail has already been reported in Tullahoma, Tennessee. I may not have said that correctly. But also some pea-sized hail in this cell, this big cell here. That's moving toward right over High Top. Stevenson, Bridgeport, you guys will be getting some of this hail. You know, some embedded stuff in there. Pea-sized hail, rather. And this thing is literally just barely skirting into Jackson County. But yeah, the models, I'm fairly impressed. I mean, they was half accurate there. You know, it showed all of it weakening out, but we've got the eastern side of it weakening out with this batch here making it into Jackson County. So that's the only part that it had wrong, was that, you know, it didn't expect it to make it this far, actually. So let's look at the chat here, see what we've got. Thank you, Logan. I appreciate that, man. And alright, Mike, I'll put you down for one. I hope your necklace is still in good shape, Mike. Yeah, let me know about that. How's your necklace doing? Like, is it still good? Like, has anything come off of it? Because I'm going to say this, I was pretty disappointed in some of them because I had 2 of them. And I wore it, and they started chipping on me. I was so mad about it, I just hung it up in here on the desk, and I thought, hey, you know, if you don't wear it, it don't chip. So just put it up here on the desk and look at it with everything else. I was pretty mad about that it started doing that. But I guess that's just part of it. I mean, it says, you know, anytime you wear something, it moves around, it's going to chip a bit, so... Again, nothing severe. Let's see if they have not put any kind of special weather statement out for Jackson County. But I'm going to go ahead and say there is going to be the potential for some hail in there, some pea-sized hail. Looks like it's curving a bit more southeast than it was. So Stevenson, Bridgeport, especially Bridgeport, you're going to be getting some of the, you know, potentially pea-sized hail, gusty winds of 40 miles per hour. If you're in the Shiloh area, northeast portion of DeKalb County as well, and Stevenson, you'll probably get some of that hail as well as it moves on across there. Can't rule out Ider either, but I don't think it's going to make it that far south. I believe it's going to continue to curve on southeast and just kind of barely clip the northeast portion here. Because it's having a very hard time moving into Alabama there. Like, it's wanting to hang out north. So additional development, starting to see it with this second outflow. Then we got a first outflow, second outflow. So we got plenty of, you know, time that some of this could develop some thunderstorms. But I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, and I could be wrong. But I'm honestly thinking along this line here, just general thunderstorms. Could be a few pop-ups. Can't rule out some strong gusty winds, maybe some small hail. If you're along this line here, I'm going to go ahead and draw one. Line number 1, mainly just gusty winds, heavy rainfall, if that. Along this line here, you could have some stronger stuff. That'd be the line number 2 there. Goes from Bridgeport, Stevenson, Shiloh, Ider, through Valley Head. Anywhere between there, line 2, you could have some heavier stuff, 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds maybe. Some hail, probably pea-sized hail with it, but that's about it, you know. That's what I'm seeing at the moment, so we'll see if that verifies. It's currently 1 a.m. and, you know, it's pretty consistent what I'm seeing here. I'm still live on Facebook, and I was just asking, what are you doing? Never mind there. She didn't even hear me, I don't think, but it's all good. And looks like High Top could get some of this next sell too, if it next little area here, if it does hold up. This stuff's not moving very fast. My goodness. It's going to be 4 or 5 a.m. It looks like. I mean, if, at this rate, if it even gets down here, if it doesn't speed up. Alright, Mike, that's cool. You're going to have to let me see that. It's hanging on the back of your firefighter helmet. I want to see that. Alright, Mike, will do. I'll have to... Well, just lost my girl. She was on video with me there, but I believe her phone probably just died. Not surprised any. But yeah, Mike, I'll do that. Started lightning and thunder and raining in Stevenson. Yeah, you're about to get some of them winds. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, you got some rain, all that good stuff there. And this stuff is having a hard time making it in. I mean, just look at that. It's almost like there's a wall there, you know, and it's just having to push real hard past it. It's just not wanting to do it. But, okay, I did it again. Wrong one. So yeah, still seeing some gusty wind potential in there. The wind is, you know, died down a lot compared to the last scans. We're at 20 miles per hour, so it's died down a good bit. Looks like High Top, of course, going to get some. It's getting some right now over the Doppler radar site. Some of those gusty winds. Looks like it could possibly going towards Skyline too. It's also picking up on some of that. Some of those gusty winds heading towards Skyline. So if you're in Skyline, you're probably going to get some gusty winds along with it, maybe 15, 20 miles per hour. Stevenson, it is coming your way. And that little black circle that you see there is actually the radar site. Thanks everybody for staying up and watching with me. I really appreciate it. Glad I'm not having to do it alone. So glad to see some people up. Alright, so now there's a little area I'm keeping an eye on. It's this area right here. Looks like it's kind of bowing out just a bit. Keep an eye on that. It wasn't showing up too bad on the scan. Those gusty winds probably approaching Stevenson here in the next few minutes. Man, I keep clicking the wrong one. So yeah, Stevenson, if you're in that area, those winds, they're coming. They're taking their time, but they are about 20 miles per hour, 20 or 30. We just got a 30 showed up on the scan there, so that was a little bit higher than original. So some embedded 30 mile per hour wind gusts in there possible going towards Skyline, passing over the High Top radar right now. Wow, you live 2 minutes from a Doppler radar site? I would love to see it. Travis worked from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Man, I feel bad for you. That would be that. That's rough timing right there, man. That's pretty rough. I feel bad for you, dude. That's some rough timing. Love you too, Mike. I appreciate you, man. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all get any calls tonight? Oh, your phone died, honey. Yay, there you are. I see you come up finally. Okay, moving back up to the top of the chat here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. But yeah, like if I, to give you an idea what a tornadic rotation, a really tight one would look like. So let's say I'm looking at a storm cell and I'm seeing what I'm seeing on radar right now, like right over the radar sites. You see those colors really close together, the green and the red, and they're bright. If I was looking at that in a storm, I would be saying that we've got a problem. But thankfully, that is no problem. It is just the radar site. And as you know, the green means going toward radar, red means going away. And you can pretty much see it doing that right there. Yeah, hon, I'll call you back after I get off the live stream. That's alright. It may be a little while. Just letting you know that. But yeah, changing the subject, about our tree yesterday. So me and my dad got out there and decided that we would try to cut it and move it. We've been able to move every tree so far that we've cut, but this one right here is big. It's just too big. It ain't gonna be able to be moved by us. We're going to have to get a tree service to come out here and move that tree. It's so big. So that one's going to be hanging out for a little while until we can get a tree service to come out here and move it. And it's several, the whole top of the tree broke out. And it's a sycamore tree. People are pretty familiar with how big those get. So it's bigger around than I am. Like, I could hide behind it. So, and that whole top is just snapped out of it. So it's going to be sitting there for a little bit until we can, do something with it. So still seeing those outflow winds come through. I'm kind of wondering why there's not a... Oh, there is a special weather statement. I was wondering about that. Okay, just issued out. A strong thunderstorm will impact northeast Jackson and southern Franklin counties through 1:45 a.m. Doppler radar is tracking a strong thunderstorm 11 miles northwest of Stevenson or 15 miles west of Bridgeport, moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. Wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour possible. They didn't mention it, but I'm going to mention it. Also, a possibility of some pea-size hail in there. Locations include Scottsboro, Winchester, Bridgeport, Deckerd, Stevenson, Cowan, Hollywood, Huntland, Skyline, and Timms Ford Lake. Of course, if outdoors, consider seeking shelter inside a building. Now, a severe thunderstorm watch still remains in effect until 2 a.m. for Middle Tennessee. That's not any concern of ours in our area anyway. But yeah, special weather statement being issued out for Jackson County due to these gusty winds coming through. So been kind of sitting here waiting on that to go in effect. But we've got a pretty intense outflow boundary here. Looks like another one may have just developed, and I believe it did because this one's more intense than any of them I've seen so far. And it's producing some pretty stout winds. You can see it visually. Just look at it visually here. You can see, just look at the color there. You can kind of see a line right through there develop. Now, check this out. And what have we got? Look at the wind. So it's a little bit north of my line, but there, you can see the gust front coming out through there. So I believe that these storms have just started producing another gust front, and I believe that's what we're seeing on the scan here, actually. That's a pretty big area. So this thing's producing some downburst winds. That's exactly what we're seeing here. Some downburst winds coming out in all directions. So it could be pretty stout. Pretty good punch. If it's moving through Bridgeport, about to move into Bridgeport here shortly. Some pretty good gusty winds coming out from these cells here. Around Stevenson, Bridgeport, Skyline, be on top of y'all here in just a second. It's going to be a pretty good punch of wind when it comes through. It's a pretty good little downburst going on with those storms there. You can definitely tell that's what's going on with it. Also, usually don't cover Madison County, but New Market, also about to get some gusty winds there. So let's see the highest wind that we have in here. It's going to be right this way here near Skyline. That was a 40 mile per hour there. It went by real quick, but there's some embedded 40s in there. 41.4, there we go. There it is. So Skyline, you can expect some 40-mile-per-hour winds. They're going to hit pretty hard, you know, and they're moving in right now. And Skyline Stevenson, you'll be getting yours here momentarily if you're not already. And looking at these winds, I'll be honest, they, you know, with this new gust front that we have that's developed, there's a new gust front has just developed. There's several of them in there, but they're weakening out and then they're producing more outflow. So there's a new gust front that is developed, and it's right along that line there. So if you're in Gurley, Paint Rock, Woodville, Espell, you guys are outside of that area where the special weather statement is. You can still get some 20 to 30 mile per hour winds out of that. And we'll just see how far south that line goes. Because like I said, it's having a really hard time, you know, moving in. Like, it's actually just hanging out right over the high top radar, it looks like. So yeah, one that lives in Stevenson, let me know how that wind is here in probably the next minute or two. Well, I mean, I wasn't really aware of a lot coming through around 6 o'clock this evening. It depends on, you know, where you're at. If you're in Georgia, then yeah, y'all had some very bad winds over there, and potentially some over further to the northeast corner there. But 40 to 50 miles per hour. I mean, yeah, yesterday was really rough winds. We had easily 60 miles per hour here. You know, and that was with summertime storms, very unpredictable. According to the radar, they was not producing that high winds. But that's why I say I can't look at different levels of the storm like the Weather Service can. So they may have seen something in there that I didn't see, you know. But it appears that it did take the tallest tree out here, so that tells me the winds were off the ground. You know, they wasn't making it to the ground fully at 60, but a little higher up, probably about 40, 50 feet up, you know, as high as that tree was, they was 60 miles per hour because they broke it off like it was nothing up there. So you can get those winds off the ground, you know, cause some problems for sure with taller objects. All right, hon, that'd be fine. Just be careful rounding up the chickens. Have fun with that. Yeah, Sam, if you're located in Stevenson, yeah, I mean it's not far from you. Like, I don't know how far you are from, you know, the town of Stevenson there, but it looks like the winds are about a mile away from you, so you still got just a few more seconds. Oh, yeah, that's the wrong one. It's already moving over Skyline. The next one's in line, Pleasant Groves, Hollywood areas. Y'all are in line, maybe some 40 mile per hour winds. And they extended that line. Looks like it goes all the way to Scottsboro. The special weather statement now goes all the way to Scottsboro and Hollywood, which it may have originally done that anyway. I just didn't really pay attention to it going that far south, but it may have. You know what? Let's just save myself some trouble instead of having to do this every 5 seconds. There we go. Problem solved. Alright guys, so bear with me. I will be right back. I gotta grab some water. It is getting hard to talk now, so I'm gonna go grab some water. I'll be right back. I am officially back, and yeah, I would get tired of taking those ferns down too. That would be aggravating. Shout out to my wonderful mama. Happy 55 birthday. She's watching on the live YouTube now. 55 years old. It's 1:19 a.m. and it's the 31st, almost August. Seems like the month didn't last very long, but yeah, mama turns 55. She turned 55 at officially 12 a.m. So happy birthday to her. Shut my door there. Didn't want to be too loud on the. It's kind of echoing a little bit there. But let's get back to it here. Sam says happy birthday. Jonathan says happy birthday. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Best mom in the world. Couldn't get a better one. But yeah, if you're in Stevenson, you should be getting the wins right now. Like, you're probably already getting the wins. I'm just amazed at how long it's taking this cell to get over the high top radar. Like, it seems like it's just stuck on top of the high top radar. Like, it's just kind of sitting there. That is crazy. Those winds look pretty intense now, right on top of high top. Wow, Sam, you still ain't gotten none of that wind yet? You must be a little bit outside of Stevenson then, just a bit. Jonathan about Higdon area. Well, I clicked on the wrong radar. Let's try that one more time. Okay. So the Higdon area is going to be just to the south of Shiloh there. So you're going to be like somewhere right in here, according to my map. Yeah, you guys are just right outside of the special weather statement box. Looking at a map, radar, and you know, it's in one, like it's in one thing, but it's got a map, it's got the radar, it's got you know, my tools that show me about watches, warnings, advisories, etc. I was just looking you up on there, so yeah, you're like right in there somewhere. You could get some gusty winds there. You're right outside of the special weather statement box, but you could probably get some gusty winds. Radar showing it's coming right over Stevenson now. It's not extremely high. Actually, the further southwest, the higher it is. But it's showing at least 14 miles per hour, so, you know, maybe a bit of a breeze. But the further toward Hollywood you go, you know, Skyline got a pretty good gust. Looks like Hollywood could get a pretty good gust too, maybe 20 to 40 miles per hour, so pretty good little gust coming in. Yeah, it's all that humidity and all that stuff. My gosh, it's had me all messed up. Like, can't even breathe when I go outside. The humidity is just so bad. And ever since I had COVID, like I told my dad, you know, ever since I had COVID that time, I cannot breathe in that humidity anymore. I don't know what it did to me. You know, they say it could scar your lungs and stuff like that. Well, I don't know what it did, but it did something, that's for sure. Because I have not been able to stand that humidity anymore. It's like I'm drowning almost. I'm sure I'm not the only one out there like that, but but good news is not seeing a lot other than that. Nothing severe. Okay, that's a little bit. That's a higher gust there. Starting to see that. That is a higher gust going on right there. So, okay, that was RF. Not looking at the RF. Okay, so we got some additional development now along that little gust front there, of course. Coming on into Skyline now. Can expect some 20 to 40 mile per hour winds with that. But we're seeing some brighter colors show up now, a lot brighter than it was. I'm sure you can see it on the screen there. It getting a little bit brighter than it was. I wish I could position it a little bit better, but in dual pan mode, it opens it up. So, well, you know, I just now thought about it, but I had a very slight heat stroke years ago. You know, I went to the hospital with it, of course. My memory was really bad. Like, it took me probably a week to get back to where I could think straight, but my memory was terrible. You know, I even forgot where I was at one point. So my memory got pretty bad there for a while. I went to the hospital, you know, dry, pale, clammy, you know, all that. And they was like, well, you had a minor heat stroke, you know. And I'm like, well, what can you do? You know, is it serious? They're like, well, it could be, you know, but if you take it easy, you know, and rest and stay out of the heat, you'll probably be just fine. So did that, and come to think, I've been really sensitive to the heat since then too. So Sam, I think you're onto something there. Sure are. I didn't ever think about that, but yeah, years and years ago, I had one too. So a very minor one. Thankfully, it wasn't nothing too bad. But it's easy to do it. 41 miles per hour now showing up in this storm here, moving towards Skyline. So if you were in, you know, Skyline area, you got some gusty winds coming up. Can't find me? I'm on YouTube.
I just looked.
Try Facebook.
You're not showing me on it all.
Try Facebook. I know it done me that way a few days ago.
I was trying to find it.
Try Facebook.
Alright.
You'll probably find me on there. I don't know what's going on with these streams lately. But the good news that I can give out is nothing severe yet. Still watching those winds that's popping up between High Top and Skyline because they look pretty intense. We'll see what that does. Nothing severe yet, just some strong activity. The models did a decent job predicting this. Now, like I said, they didn't put it moving into Alabama. They expected it to stay east of us, but they did an excellent job as far as it goes with it weakening. I mean, just look around, nothing but rain, other than these gusty winds here. So, you know, I rely heavily on the high-resolution rapid refresh models, and I would have agreed with them. The only reason I didn't agree with them is because of that gust front, and that's the only reason I didn't agree with them. And kind of glad I didn't, because they ended up going into northeast Alabama just like I thought. You know, so glad that I went with my wits there on that, and you know, with the gust front. But it's, you know, weakening on out, still seeing some gusty winds, but that's a lot better than the damaging stuff we seen yesterday. And as bad as I got to give some news, you know, there's a possibility tomorrow that we could have another wave come in. So we'll keep an eye on that too to see if that does happen. We got a 43 mile per hour gust now showing up near Skyline. So this line here, the winds have increased a good bit with it. You're welcome, Mama. I see Mama in the live stream now. She must have found it. Rain and wind picking up between High Top and Skyline. Yeah, definitely. 40 to 50 miles per hour possible. Wow, Julia, that sounds like some of my luck there. Which, well, I live in a trailer too, you know. And oh yeah, it's supposed to be hot. Let me switch graphics. There's some bad news for everybody for asking, is it going to be hot? Heat advisory in effect now from Wednesday to Thursday. Could get up to heat indexes could get up to 109 degrees, so it's supposed to be miserable out there, just flat out miserable out there. So yeah, not looking forward to that at all. And I hate having to stay in, you know, because of the heat. You know, you really can't. Many people, you know, really can't just go out in that type of heat. So it is unfortunate. But I can say this about mobile homes. This one's been a good one. It's held up to 70 mile an hour winds, maybe a little higher than 70. And it did just fine. A little bit of roof damage. You know, that's all it did. You know, just maybe buckled it up a little bit on the tin. But other than that, it held up just fine. So, I mean, any higher than 70, I wouldn't want to be in it. Definitely wouldn't want to be in it. Any higher than 70. So... Wow, look at that. Just bam, another shot of high wind just shot out from that cell there. These are very outflow dominant cells, which is making me think, you know, that pretty much, you know, all these things are going to do is just produce some gusty winds. You know, potentially can't rule out an embedded damaging wind gust. But right now, not seeing it. Special weather statement update. Still producing a possibility of 40 mile per hour wind gust with this. Areas still impacted, expected to be impacted. Scottsboro, Winchester, Bridgeport, Deckerd, Stevenson, Cowan, Hollywood, Huntland, Skyline, and Thamesford Lake. That is still what they got, you know, showing up right now. So that is nothing really changed with that update. So now we have a secondary gust front that has developed, or actually, this is probably the third one, I'm going to say. Yeah, that's probably the third one I've counted. And let me adjust that out a little bit here. It's going to be right here. And then there's our second one right there. And our third one's kind of just faded out. I'm not even really seeing it now show up. But there's another one that's right along there. I can see it on the reflectivity. So we got 3 gust fronts right there, you know, in a row. And that one's firing up pretty good. Those winds there, that's pretty high. Going toward past Skyline, going toward Hollywood, unfortunately. Where that lady just says she went getting a mobile home with a friend. There are 42 mile per hour winds now. Gusting ahead there toward Hollywood. So if you're in Hollywood, be ready for possibly 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. I'm seeing some higher 40s there. So possibly some 40 to 50 mile per hour winds now coming in out of this. Oh, a 45. Wow, that was a 45. It just showed up. .9, almost 46 miles per hour. So they may have to do an update on that. Okay, so this line is finally crossing into northeast Alabama. And I'm still kind of curious with its motion. Let me back out a little bit, see if that motion has changed any. So again, it is broadening out, which is expected. When you get those winds, they do spread out. So again, I'm still sticking to where I was at with the winds, but we'll see how far south it goes. We'll see if these gust fronts redirect it and bring it more south, or if they continue to pull it southeast, which is, you know, my little radar, my little storm direction marker there is putting it southeast. So, but I'm seeing more of a southerly development now, kind of a southerly direction, maybe putting it a little bit further south than what it was earlier. Didn't mean to do that, but yeah, there's a big pocket of gusty winds along between Skyline. Be entering Hollywood momentarily. Some brighter colors showing up in there. Thankfully, no 60s or nothing. Just 40 miles per hour, 40 to 50 possibly in that area, passing Skyline. Take a look at the chat real fast. Well, Sam, I'm trying to get me a tiny house too. Just to be honest, I just want a home. I mean, I'd be glad to take a tiny house. I think they're pretty cool. Yeah, Julia, I get it. Ain't nothing severe with it yet, but there's some high winds. And Samantha, it could. I mean, if these gust fronts continue to develop out ahead of this, it very well could put it that far south that it could end up going through, you know, Fort Payne area. I'm just waiting on the motion here to see what it's going to do, and it still looks like it's dragging it southeast. So even with that gust front, it still looks like it's pulling it southeast. So doesn't look like it's changing anything. Which usually the storms just follow that air. Like usually they build behind it. You know, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change its direction. Just usually you have development along it. So those winds are spreading out now a lot, and they've weakened on down, but still embedded in there is some probably 40 to 50 miles per hour. I'm pretty certain there is. And yeah, it's moving toward Hollywood now, about a mile or so out. And no new updates at all as far as special weather statement goes. It still stands. That special weather statement still stands up until, let me look at this here. It doesn't really say when it expires. Okay, through 145. Sorry, it does. Just didn't see it. So through 145 they expect this. So keeping an eye on it. Okay, so seeing some strengthening going on there. And it does look like it's going to move directly where that little marker is showing. So let's go ahead and get a little outline area here of where it's going to go. And that is not straight by any means. So yeah, it looks like it's going to go toward Eider, Henniger, Sylvania, Valley Head. It could possibly go as far south as Fort Payne. Not going to rule that out, but I am seeing some strengthening as far as the color goes in on the radar scan there on the reflectivity. But we'll just see how that holds out. So if you're in Shiloh, northeast portion, this Shiloh over here, I don't even know if you guys can see it. Let me see if you can see it. Okay, yes, that Shiloh there in the far northeast portion of DeKalb County. You guys are going to get some of the winds there. If you're in Eider, you're going to get some of them winds. So Mike might want to hang around the fire station or keep the radio pager on, which I'm sure you got it on 24/7. So if you're like me, you got it on 24/7. I got my pager on over there for the severe weather. I got it on, anytime I know there's severe weather, I got them on 24/7. So Yeah, so they're definitely going to be moving toward the Eider area. Eider and Henniker. Maybe as far south as Sylvania, possibly as far south as Fort Payne. Just have to see how this goes. It's not moving very quick. But just look at it produce gust front after gust front. You can, if you look carefully in those colors, you can see it. It looks like a bomb or something, or a shock wave. Just shock wave after shock wave developing there. I'm gonna take a look at the other scan here. Look a little bit further into the rotation, if there is any. Okay. So Stevenson, I bet you're getting wind now over there. But the highest of the winds actually went just a little bit west of you. You got some gusty winds there, but the highest of the winds now are, let me zoom in a little bit. It won't let me zoom in, but yeah, moving into Hollywood right now. It's going to move toward section, possibly section. I think section may be a little bit further south, but yeah, section could still get some of the gusty winds, but primary areas that's going to get these gusty winds will be Hollywood, Pisgah, Henniker, Eider, Dutton area. If it moves into DeKalb County, possibly Sylvania, Henniker, you know, definitely Henniker, Eider area. And then further out, if it does hold up, Valley Head, and maybe, you know, Fort Payne area. I don't know what happened to Fort Payne. It says DeKalb County, but that's not helping me out much. I see Pine Ridge, all those areas. So where in the world does Fort Payne go? Am I missing something? I guess Fort Payne just decided it would disappear from the map. Because Fort Payne's usually always like right in there. And I'm not even seeing it anymore. And it sounds like my little dog had to come in here and open the door and say hello. It's sitting right here next to my chair. What are you doing? I guess she's going to be sitting here at the radar with me now. Say hey to everybody, Daisy. Oh. That's not going to work. Quit licking. But yeah, she's sitting here at the radar with me now. I don't know what I'm going to do with these dogs. Every time it thunders, they get scared. Quit sniffing. Quit sniffing the microphone, Daisy. Yes, Sam, did you send those photos in? Just curious. And Jessica, are you experiencing really bad wind, or are you asking, is there going to be really bad wind? My goodness. Well, Daisy, she's probably about 20 or 30 pounds. Thankfully, she's not that big. But yeah, she's just a big old baby. Come in here and stand up on her hind legs and, you know, just stand there on the floor, look at you all pitiful. You can't help but pick her up. So you're getting some really bad wind. Jessica, where are you at exactly? Just curious. You got to be somewhere between Skyline and Hollywood there. So seeing some higher winds also developing along there, going, of course, over Hollywood right now. Approaching Pisgah, we got a 39.1, approximately 40. There's going to be some embedded 40 to 50 in here. I'm going to say that. Some easily, you know, could get some 50 out of there. I wouldn't doubt it if there's not some of those, you know, areas I'm not able to click on with this little tool. Really small pockets of some wind, 40 to 50. I wouldn't doubt that a bit out of some of this stuff here. Alrighty, girl. It was nice seeing you. girl, what am I going to do with you? She's got to hang out in here and watch what's going on. Starting to see a little pop-up shower there near Sylvania. And I am seeing this gust front approaching DeKalb County. Of course, that's going to be a breeze. Unless you're in Henniger and Ider area, which I really think there should be an extension with that special weather statement. You know, personally myself, I would extend it on into Henniger, Sylvania, you know, Ider especially, Pisgah, which, oh, well, no, it's not into Pisgah yet. We'll see if they extend that. It really depends on the winds, but they should extend that out. But we'll see. But what's weird is all this just starts blowing up on top of the high top radar. I mean, am I the only one noticing that? Okay, so I've noticed something. Our first gust front, I can't see it on this, well, yeah, actually I can see it a little bit on this scan here. And our first gust front that we've seen is finally making it here into our area. Right there, there's a storm trying to fire along it. And then there it is. Here is our second one. And here comes our third one. So the third one's the one watching now. The other two, the second one's still producing some gusty winds. Third one is really weakening on out, but seeing a little bit of development there on the radar from that. And seeing a weakening trend, which is you know, always good. Still some 30 to 40 mile per hour in there. Good news, nothing has went severe yet. That's great. A lot of lightning in Ider and Henniger. What's weird is my radar is not even showing any lightning. I don't know what's happening to it. No tornadoes expected out of this. Hopefully not. You know, hopefully it stays that way. For high top, it looks like that's the end of it, what you just had. All that's moving southeast of you. Yeah, my radar actually could be, my radar is a bit updated, so it does update like a few minutes ahead of time. So like we could be outside, you know, I could, you know, tell my dad, hey, you know, it's about to rain, you better get in. The radar will show the rain already over us, but, you know, when he gets, you know, probably 1 to 2 minutes, bam, it hits, like, you know, so it's a little bit ahead of itself, it sure is, which is good, it needs to be, you know, because we see something we need to get out, you know, we need to give people a heads up ahead of time, so. Yeah, I was noticing some strange motion in that storm there. That's why I switched over to the reflectivity, or the super resolution relative velocity, looking for rotation. Because you know these storms, you never know what they're going to do really until they do it. So it pays to just take a look. If you don't see nothing, awesome. If you do, you know, good thing you looked. Alright, Ider, you'll be getting these winds here any moment. And thanks again, everybody, for sticking along with us here. I mean, all this should move out probably within the next hour or two. It's now approaching Eider, as a matter of fact. All right, Mike. Thanks for letting me know that. So far, I haven't heard any 911, or anything go out for trees down yet. But usually, when it gets into DeKalb County, it starts doing that. But thing is, I forgot Jackson County is digital, and DeKalb County we're old school. We're back in the analog days, which anybody can hear what's going on. Which I don't understand the big deal with all this digital mess anyway, just to be honest, because when the internet, my knowledge of it, when the internet goes down, that digital stuff's not any good anymore. You're going to be going right back to analog stuff unless they've got some newer, updated stuff that I don't know about. But that's just my opinion. I like the analog. I like old school. I'm good with it. So I'm hoping, DeKalb stays that way and doesn't transition like Marshall and Jackson County has, because then people like me, amateur radio guys that want to listen and know what's going on so they can help people out, we have to update to $200, $300, I think $300 or $400 digital scanner, and that's just ridiculous. Like, nobody can afford that these days. And if you can, you're pretty lucky. But not a lot of people can afford $400 for a digital scanner, and you could turn around and buy an analog one for $40-$50 maybe. So I'm hoping they stay like they are. DeKalb does a little bit of both. Like they've got some digital stuff. They've got some cell phone stuff going on where they can nobody can hear what's going on if they don't want you to. They can talk on the cell phone, all that good stuff. Kind of like e-dispatch and all that stuff. But, with the Amateur Radio Club, we also have that capability to talk through our cell phones to the Amateur Radio Club repeaters anywhere in the world. We could sit here I could take my cell phone. I could be in Australia where my girl is, and I could get on my phone and talk right here to Fort Payne with it. Like, it's unlimited distance, which is awesome. So, it is pretty awesome. Let's see if we got any extension on any of that. No, the special weather statement was canceled out. So the special weather statement has been canceled. Still seeing some gusty winds out there. Nothing major, but we are still seeing some 20 to 35 miles per hour gust in there. I'm not seeing 40 anymore. Seeing a 33, so yeah, we do have some gusty winds in there, but it is weakening out a lot. Yeah, she's on bed. Yep. I clicked on the wrong one again. Alright, well the good news is, the severe weather threat, we still have the possibility we could see some gusty winds, even as far south as my area, because those gust fronts are continuing to come through. The most with those will probably be 10 to 20 mile per hour winds, maybe 30. Unless we get some additional development. But it looks like everything is continuing to weaken on out. We're still watching that cluster there, and it's pretty much staying right along the line that I drew out. That was pretty good. That was pretty good right there. It's staying like right along the line that I drew. I remember it was around Sylvania northwest. So still watching that. We can still see some showers elsewhere with some gusty winds. Coming into northern Marshall County now, north of Grant. Y'all are probably going to get some, breezy conditions there. Possibility of some light rainfall, light to moderate. Most of this will weaken on out before it gets there. I still got my eyes on this section over in Eider and Henniger, Pisgah area. Just in case we get another downburst, outflow develop. Alright, so still watching that gust front move through Sylvania. We got an additional pop up there, which been watching that for a few minutes now. It's not moving too fast. Yeah, Jonathan, I don't doubt it. I'm not surprised. Me, you see that red dot on the map there? Hang on a second, let me get this little tool out of here, because it won't let me click it. Right there I am. I brought my name up there. You should be able to see it on the stream, but it shows I'm a ham radio operator, storm chaser, and there's my name and everything. That's where I'm located at. I'm looking northeast. So power is flickering. I'm not surprised. An amazing lightning show. I don't know what's going on with the graphics with the radar, because my radar shows no lightning. So bear with me. I'm going to close it. Let me switch you guys to another radar real quick, and I'm going to close it because it does bug out sometimes. I think that's what it's done. It's not showing any lightning at all. Let me switch to another radar here while I refresh that one. Okay, let me close that one out and open it back up. Okay, and even with that, it's still not showing the lightning. Let me look at the tools here. See if something may have happened that I didn't know about. Okay. What is going on here? There we go. It bugged out. My gosh, I can't believe that. Unbelievable. Sorry, I was just, yeah, unbelievable. There's the lightning. Nope, no tornadoes. If one developed, it would be a miracle. Yeah, usually you don't, unless you have two different systems meeting, like we've seen in the past. Like if you've got a system from the west meeting a system from the north, and they're moving different directions, even if they're producing gust fronts and outflow boundaries, anytime those winds cross each other, you can get a quick spin-up tornado, which we have seen in Jackson County in the past. But these storms are moving all the same direction, and they're remaining very outflow dominant. There's not a lot of crosswinds going on there, so I don't expect the threat of a tornado with any of this, but I do expect gusty winds with it. So the good news, no special weather statement has been issued, no warnings have been issued with it. We're going to get back to dual pan here. But yeah, there's our lightning starting to show up. And the lightning is so useful. Like, I'm very glad to see it working, because it lets me know where these storms are strengthening at and where they're not. And we are seeing a little bit of strengthening going on to the west of Shiloh there, northeast portion, also toward Eider. It is giving me some indications that it is trying to strengthen there, so we're going to watch it till it exits And next in the line will be, looks like Valley Head. You'll get some, gusty winds, some heavy rainfall, probably lightning too. Getting some wind right now. Eider and Henniger, you've already had the wind. You're about to get plummeted by the rain and all that good stuff. Then it looks like it'll move on into Georgia, and to Tryon, Georgia, Pennville, and Summerville, Georgia area before it's all said and done. And that is finally showing up. I have been wondering if that was ever going to show up or not. Okay, so I'm not seeing it on this scan here. I've been looking at what looks like some twirling going on in this storm. Like it looks like it's spinning right in this area here. I've been watching it for a bit and can't figure out why it's not showing up on the radar, but now it is showing up on the radar. So I'm going to watch that little area there because it appears the winds are going in different directions here. So that is southwest of Bridgeport, and we are starting to see some lightning show up right in there too. I'm not seeing it on the storm relative velocity, which is, on second thought, I am seeing it on the resolution on the velocity scan now. It's now showing up on this one too. Some higher winds right in there. So around Bridgeport, so there is some weak stuff showing up right there. I'm seeing that now on this scan. We're going to go back to velocity. But that may just be nothing. I mean, it looks really weak. But I do see lightning right in there, and do have a little couplet there. Very, very broad, like really, really broad. And looking at it on the scan here, I mean, there is lightning right in there, so it does look a little bit, concerning, just a little bit. Nothing concerning to the point I think a tornado or anything's going to develop, but I do notice some cross winds going on there. We do have winds going toward and away from radar right in that area, which could be due to many things. Doesn't necessarily mean a tornado is developing. So we're going to watch right in there. Keep an eye on that. It's usually your first big indicator of something developing is lightning, which we've got the lightning intensifying there, and then you start to see the little couplet develop, and they can spin up pretty quickly sometimes. So keeping an eye on that. Going to be watching it. But this is a rather, weak storm here. But we do have some crosswinds. I could see that going on right now. And again, that little couplet there is just southwest of Bridgeport. Again, it is very weak, very broad. Most likely nothing going to happen out of it. So we're just keeping an eye on that little area anyway. It's a big mess of rain and wind. I am going to, just for my, peace of mind here, because we have had spin ups, unexpectedly. Not seeing anything right in there on the scan. I think we may be seeing a downburst right in there. That might be what that is. That's what I'm starting to think now, looking at the scan here, now that it's spread it out a little bit more. Looks like it's going right over Stevenson. So yeah, not as concerned as I was at this point. Seeing some higher winds now on the northeast portion there of around Shiloh, moving into Trenton, Georgia now. Seeing some higher winds up there, but yeah, I think what we're seeing on the radar there could be due to the terrain causing the wind direction change there, which is, we've seen tornadoes spin out of that before. But yeah, it's not looking like nothing at the moment. So it looks like the highest of the winds now coming through the Shiloh area. Ider, you're getting a lot of heavy rain, lightning. Make sure you stay indoors, which hopefully you're not outside at 2 in the morning anyway, but I know I probably would be, so there you go. Looks like there's a pocket of some gusty winds going toward Trenton, Georgia right now. Well, that's actually the wrong radar scan, but it still looks like it's there, and it is. So I think we can just about get ready to wrap things up. This stuff's moving on out. It is, so far been pretty well behaved. Elsewhere, it looks like we can see some gusty winds, possibility of some rainfall. Most areas won't get rainfall. Some might. Some additional thunderstorm development is possible because of all the gust fronts that we have out there. But other than that, we're getting just about ready to wrap things up. I mean, it's looking pretty good out there. Nothing too bad, other than some high winds. And even that's weakened on out unless you're around Trenton, Georgia. Sam, you're sitting outside. Like I said, there's always that person. Like me, I would be outside. All right, Mike. Oh, hey, Lucinda. Hope you're doing well, hon. She's my little one, by the way, if you're wondering who I'm talking about. She's talking under my girl's name there on Facebook. I just now saw it. Sorry it took me so long to see it. I'll say yes, you can go to sleep in Rainsville. I'm that certain. But, I mean, this is just a big mess. So, yeah, you're good to go to sleep. I mean, pretty much... keeping an eye on it still till it gets out of here, though. But as far as Rainsville goes, let me scan on in here and see how close this is. There is some thunderstorm activity developing along this outflow or gust front, which is expected for it to continue to do that. But as far as it looks, just like a big rainy mess. I mean, that's about it. A lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, of course. So we got some new storm tracks up. It's going right toward Valley Head, as stated earlier. Sylvania, of course, it's moving through there as well. Some of those winds going as far near Powell and Rainsville, so you are going to get some breezy conditions there. Nothing severe or anything like that, though. It's only showing like 15-mile-per-hour winds. Like, that may not even be making it to the ground. Then again, it might. So, you may have a breeze. Then again, you may have 20-mile-per-hour winds. But that's on the extreme at the moment. But yeah, if it was me, I'd go to bed. It's nothing significant or anything like that by any means. I don't know why my attention keeps on breaking off in this area right here. For some reason, it keeps catching my attention right over in here, and I'm not really sure why. Okay, yeah, I've just realized why. Yeah, it's nothing though. It's just was a little bit strange looking there for a moment, but yeah, Julie, you should be good. I mean, everything's past you, other than the rain. So yeah, I mean, yeah, send them in, Jessica. I'd love to see them. Those videos of the trees, that would be pretty awesome. Going different directions. Hollywood, just some rain. Henniger, same thing, just rain and wind. Nah, you're good, Caitlin. I get it. My phone is always misspelling stuff. It's actually right on top of Higdon right now. Like it's coming your way pretty quick. So yeah. Now I know it's 2 in the morning. I'm exhausted myself. Getting some additional thunderstorm development on top of Sylvania there, but that's about it. Wind-wise, it's looking pretty good. Not nothing too bad. Looks like this gust front will make it this far south, so could get some gusty winds. Maybe, like I said, some rainfall if it does come this far south. But the severe threat again stayed, northeast of us as I expected it to here in Crossville, Geraldine. I don't know what happened to Crossville. There it is. And Fort Payne, you guys have just fell off the map. Like, I don't understand what has happened. But yeah, I have no clue what's happened to Fort Payne, but they have just fell off the map. Okay, I got it on my map here, on the secondary map. Okay. I'm honestly starting to think that maybe that marker there, that might be where Fort Payne's at, because it looks kind of like where it used to be. Oh my gosh, that is where Fort Payne's at. I have no clue why DeKalb County is there where it says where Fort Payne should be, but I guess, yeah, that's where you guys are at. So I'll have to remember that. So that is Fort Payne. For some reason, been just named DeKalb County, so alrighty. My map is kind of funny. Alrighty, so we're going to get out of dual pan here. That little area there keeps grabbing my eye for something, every time right in here. Alrighty, just double checking some stuff there. Even though these storms look terrible, just for our sake, just double checking. Never hurts to be a little over precautious there. And going back out here to the regular mode. So some of these winds, gusty winds, breezy conditions going through northern Marshall County, slowly getting here where I'm at. It's a little bit north, actually in between Fife and Lakeview. Some breezy conditions there. We'll get some breezy conditions here. Still watching this thunderstorm stuff over Sylvania, Henniger, Eider. Moving toward Valley Head. Looks like it could clip into Fort Payne. But anyway, a lot of radars up. I'm going to take a look at our newest outlooks. And this is going to be Wednesday's outlook. Still got a marginal threat of severe thunderstorms east of us. Northeast and east of us, there's a threat of that. Let me take a look at the model outlook here. And I'm going to have to reload that up, so let's see if I can load it up. I'm looking at this in the background, by the way. Y'all cannot see this. So let me back it up a bit. Yeah, this model outlook here does not go out very far, so I'm going to move over to a different model outlook here. But yeah, letting those new models load up here. So everything I'm looking at with the models are keeping, all that activity northeast of us right now, over kind of northern Georgia up into Tennessee, further north than that, northeast than that. Not seeing nothing in our area at the moment as far as tomorrow goes. Also, if you would like to help support the stream, I do have Cash App. That information's up there too. If you would like to, you don't have to, but you can also like and share our information. That helps, another way to support us. But tomorrow, only a 20% chance of some pop-up showers and storms. 40%, or actually, about a 40% chance further northeast. And looking like it's going to get hot. Looking at some of the outlooks there, not very happy with that. Looking at some of these model outlooks a little further out here. Okay, that is not the outlook that I wanted. So we'll have a big ridge of high pressure that will set up north of Texas, very close to Texas. Nice little heat dome area there. Looks like up in Oklahoma, Kansas area. Very good little area of high pressure setting up there, but that heat will extend on down into our area as well. I do see cooler air up to the north, which looks like it tries to move south a bit. So, we may have a cool front coming in. Looks like it tries to move into areas of Illinois. Looks like that cooler air does try to go a little bit south, and we do get a little cooler temperatures between Wednesday the 7th to Tuesday the 13th. Precipitation-wise, 50-50. Could get some rain. Probably not. Maybe not, though. That's between Monday the 5th to Friday the 9th. Looking a little bit further out, models bringing the rainfall back to the area Wednesday the 7th to Tuesday the 13th time frame. Above average chances of rain showing up for a lot of the United States. through that time period. So we'll watch and see if we do have a cool front move through. And also that tropical development, we've also been, checking that out too. Let me see if I can switch over here. Looking at the radar one more time. Yeah, still just a lot of rain, wind moving on out of our area. So let's get back to it here. Look in the background a bit. I'll have to load that up, bear with me. And don't have anything set up in the background, so I may have to readjust. I may have to readjust a lot, so bear with me. Because that is like absolutely gigantic. Okay. So let's adjust this out a little bit here. Alrighty. So let's go on down. So this is, again, looking 6 through 10 day. This is Monday the 5th to Friday the 9th. Big heat dome setting up for areas north of Texas. Looks like Oklahoma, Kansas areas. Also going to get pretty hot here. 90s, very humid as well. 8 through 14 day, notice that blue coming a bit further south, so it's putting that, jet stream and the cooler air mass just a little further south than it was in the last models. Still forecasted pretty warm temperatures, but a bit cooler between the 7th to 13th. Still a lot of uncertainty with that model because usually you go that far out, they're very inaccurate. Precipitation-wise, it may rain, it may not for our area. Pretty much rainfall introduced back into the picture between Wednesday the 7th to Tuesday the 13th, so they bring that back. Now let's take a look and see. Now this is a long, most likely this is, going to be a bunch of nonsense. The models, they're never that accurate when it comes to hurricanes and stuff like that. So let's look at the image here and see if we have anything develop with the GFS. Let's let all this load up. It might take it a minute, considering I've got 1,000 things loaded up here, which usually this computer here is extremely quick. So, okay, so now this is the GFS. Okay, so don't freak out, because there's two scenarios that this could take. Which it would be nice, if the GFS was correct, because it would bring a lot of rainfall over our area. But more than likely, that's not going to be the case. So let's look at it. This is pretty much just for fun. I mean, it's more than likely not going to do like this. So there's your low pressure, tropical system developing, possible hurricane. Looks like it impacts the southern portion of Alabama, moves north. That low pressure moves north, comes over us, and then just falls apart. But again, that's only one scenario. There's a few. And that looks like that could happen by Friday into the weekend. But again, this is not nothing certain at all. Like, this is just pretty much if. Maybe, maybe not. So let's look at some other scenarios here. I cannot do a regional outlook with it, so let's move on. European, where are we at? I hope I'm clicking the right one. I swear that seems like the right one. I'm not 100%, but that seems like the right model outlook. Let's see here. Continental, regional. I'll know here in a minute. Of course, you got to have Pivotal Plus to look at any of that outlooks, of course. So you know what? We're just going to stick with what the GFS said there, because that's the only model I can look at without paying for it. But yeah, put it like Friday into the weekend. That's a big if. So let me look some more information up here. Okay. Let's look at the National Hurricane Center outlooks. And they're predicting it, of course, to go a different direction. Don't need to be putting that up. Don't want to get strike. Don't want to get copyright strike. Don't do that. Yeah, don't do any of that. I don't need to get copyright strike because I know they're going to if I don't watch what I'm doing here. I better be really careful because if that played any sound at all or anything like that, then they would definitely copyright strike me. Don't need them doing that. You know what? Let's save it. Let's just make this easy. I know somewhere on Facebook, I've got so many groups I follow, I know one of them has put that out. And again, it's for entertainment and educational purposes only, by the way, and I'm only saying that because of we're seeing, you know, some of these meteorologists show up on here and everything like that. So, okay. Now, if you want to follow somebody, I will recommend these guys. Florida Weather Center, great job. They do a great job when it comes to forecasting hurricanes. Now, myself, I don't have a clue about hurricanes much. Newest outlook was just put out several hours ago, and again, this is Florida Weather Center's content. This is what they posted up from National Hurricane Center. Possible area, you know, that it could go. It could go toward us. It could go back out to sea. Not really sure, but yeah, I don't want to keep that up too long. I don't want to, you know, try their YouTube's patience. Definitely don't want to do that. So let's get back to radar. Yeah, they will copyright strike you over anything these days, and I forget, I'm live streaming on YouTube and I'm live streaming on Facebook too. And if you play any audio, any kind of audio in there or content that's not yours, you got a very good possibility of being copyright striked unless you verify it. So, and then sometimes you'll still get copyrighted regardless. Don't need that. But yep, getting ready to wrap it up. Hope everybody had enjoyed the stream. Looking like we're wrapping everything up. Severe threat is out of here. Everything's moving on out. I'm looking at the radar again in the background. And pray to God I don't get a notification later that says you have been prohibited from going live for so-and-so due to copyright claim. I'm going to have a fit if I do. But, yeah. Looking good other than some gusty winds, so going to head to bed. Thanks everybody so much for watching. God bless. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, or actually, I'm sorry, I'm behind here. Have a great Wednesday morning. A little bit behind on my time there. But yeah, heading to bed. Good night everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great sleep. See ya on the next update, which will be Thursday night. So, but we'll be updating, of course, on the page, but our next live will probably be Thursday night. So, have a good night, everybody. See you on the next one. And no problem, everybody. Clicked the wrong thing. Thanks so much for watching, Mike. Everybody, appreciate you. And as a reminder, just in case this video does get copyright striked, I did not own any of the content that I showed there. It was only for educational purposes only, what I just showed. So yeah, that way they copyright me, they can go back and look where I said that and then be like, oh, well, okay then. Take care. Good night, everybody.